Nintendo. Let's see if they've got no numbers. So we'll start with A. It was starting us with A. I looked at Gift Horse in the Mouth, ActRaiser. I am the last guy to ask anything Nintendo at all. I'd never owned a Nintendo. My son did, but I have never owned a Nintendo. From my recollection, Atari came out, NES, by the time NES came out, I already had Atari, and you just, back then, at least I didn't, not very many people I knew had like a bunch of consoles, had like every console, because that stuff was a lot more expensive, I think, relative to today. Captain Skyhawk. And I see Mario stuff like coin-op stuff and like Duck Hunt coin-op stuff that I never saw in real life, but it looks like some of this stuff was, so I'm thinking that this is supposed to be, that these classic wheels are supposed to be coin, but maybe they're not. MAME, I'm not sure if MAME obviously MAME doesn't just cover. Well, maybe it does. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about anything. That's the whole point of all of this. I know nothing.
Yep.
But I do know this one, Donkey Kong. So obviously that was a coin-op game and all that. I'm just talking about Mario Brothers. Like, there's Mario Brothers and Super Mario World, and that, I always think of just Mario as just the guy jumping around, but there was that, and then there was Mario Brothers, or there was Super Mario, and then when was Luigi out, and all that shit that I have no idea, any of those timelines, any of that stuff. I'm not a Nintendo guy. But I do know that Donkey Kong 3 was the third one. Donkey Kong Jr. These actually look cute. I was just never into these kind of sort of level puzzly games. I don't know. I just didn't get into them because you weren't shooting stuff. I wanted to shoot stuff. I wanted to see stuff blow up. Which is why I went from video games to politics. I did not go to politics. I have never been a politician. Dr. Mario. Like, that doesn't look like a coin-op game to me. Maybe it is. I don't know. But I know the Play 10. The Play 10s are... So, maybe they did. Maybe they just ported the stuff one way or the other, and I know... No, it's not technically a port if they did... I don't... Fine. I get it, all right? I don't understand a lot of this stuff. I was just a kid that loved arcades. And then had a kid... Well, I had two kids. I have two kids. Love them both, but my son is the one who's really into games. And, boy, is he into games. So he made up for it. Anything I didn't do, console, PC, all of that, game-wise, he covered. Even the shit before he was born. Even the stuff that he didn't play, he could probably still give you the dates for it. Hogan's Alley. See, I remember these graphics. I just didn't remember what the game was. My step-siblings, my father's second family, they had Nintendo. They had an NES and then Super Nintendo. So Mario Brothers, Mario, the Duck Hunt, the gun game. Yeah, a lot of that. And Mary Poppins. My stepsister, she rest in peace, had spina bifida, and she had Mary Poppins playing all the time. Mario Brothers. See, so Mario Brothers, and so this looks more kind of coin-op-y to me, because this doesn't look like, this doesn't look like at least a system back then. You can just tell that the graphics. No, that was the you. How dare you? And I'll have the Nintendo cult after me. And I know, like, golf, Mario Golf, and like Wii Golf, Wii Sports, all that stuff. I've never even held a Wii controller in my hand, much less played a Wii game. Metroid, I know Metroid, and I don't know if Metroid and Metroid Man is the same thing. I do know that this is not Punch-Out. I'm sorry, this is not Punch-Out. Ugh. That's what drove me crazy. Battlezone, Asteroids. And even when they got up to where the asteroids weren't just going in little ribbon, stripe columns, you know, like the 7200, maybe the 5400, but the 7200, I know, 7800, 5400, 5200, 26, 5200, 7800. The 7800 version I know of Asteroids was almost like Blasteroids. That's probably where Blasteroids came from. Whoops! Did I miss something? Where was I? Ah! Was I on Mario Brothers? You know what? I'm gonna have to redo this. I'm gonna start this over. Am I gonna start this over? Where was I? Duck Hunt. That looks familiar. Okay, I was around here. So I'm gonna stop talking. Mario Brothers, Mario Brothers. Okay, there we go. Open Golf. Yep. Mega Man, Metroid. I didn't know if that's not. Punch Out is not. And then I didn't like vector games. Okay, there we are. We're back. GoPro. Don't want to start the GoPro over. It might run out of the battery, or overheat, or both. World Cup. Play choice. So I remember the play choice units. They reminded me of the was it SNK or Capcom? That there were units that like they had the brand on the top, not the game, and it would be play choice or something like that. Popeye. I've done my Popeye playthrough. This was actually this, and I just don't like these kind of games. This was actually, I have to admit, this was fun, but it was frustrating as hell. And I just don't think like these games. Like, you know, I want to blow things up. I don't want to have Bluto chasing me around. Well, I have to go in Olive's hearts. I mean, Olive's my type. I'm into brunettes, so that's Punch Out. And I know that they couldn't do I know that's not vector, but they couldn't do the grid sort of thing that they were very, especially the early stuff. I don't know if the original NES and Atari 2600 if that's 26. I don't know if that's 26 kilobytes. I don't know. 4 bits, 8 bits. Was that 8 bits? I don't know. RoboCop, not RoboCop 3, I don't think, but RoboCop I played in that little arcade in College Town that only had a few machines, and they were a lot of the games, the kind of games that I would not normally play, but that was all they had there. And so, you know, you're not going to drive across town when your girlfriend's got your car, or your car is broken down and your girlfriend, you know, you don't have your girlfriend's car. Rygar. I had this Rygar. I remember this game, Crawl. I think it was for Sheriff. I first played Sheriff on vacation. I remember going out and I had $27. We went on vacation and I had $27, and how I equated the $27 was 108 quarters. 108 quarters. So I would be able to play 108. I wound up buying ashtrays for my family, you know, souvenirs and all that stuff. But that's what I was thinking was how many arcade games I could play, because that was, you know, oh, we're gonna go to the Grand Canyon. I wonder if there's arcades there. Oh God. Grand Canyon from the back of your station wagon, looking at the floor. And I'm not talking about this at all. Space Fever, Space Invaders Part 700,000. Different colors. More Space Invaders. Space Fever High Splitter. Talking too much. I've got dry mouth and I'm talking too much. Wow, where did that come from? Space Launcher, which is Clown and Balloons meets Gravatar with bad Star Trek music. Super C looks like Contra to me, or Midnight Express, or just some ripoff of some combination of those games. Like, this is the Mario Brothers that my half sister would play constantly. Or maybe it was this. No, it wasn't this. Mario looked different. So this seems like the console games. I don't know if this would be a quarter, if you would stick a quarter in a game and play this, but they might have ported them or ROM'd them or whatever you call it, and put the NES games in. I'm sure they could have done that, right? They could have put an NES game. Or maybe there's something about the chips or the cards or something. So much out. I remember this Super Punch Out. Didn't like it very much. Super Tennis. I played tennis. I played Virtua Tennis. Loved Virtua Tennis. Spent a lot of money on Virtua Tennis. spend no money on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I, for some reason, was thinking that this was going to be... Oh, here's the arcade game. Turtles 2? The arcade game. Oh! Or maybe that's the Turtles 2, the arcade game that was ported back. I don't know. But here's a different tennis that looks like the same tennis. Play choice tennis, so that was probably the coin-op one. Addams Family, which... Was that the original Addams Family? Looks like the original Gomez. Or maybe that was Raul Julia Gomez. That was probably yeah, it's probably when they came out with Raul Julia and Angelica Houston, and I think that's when Christina Ricci got her start. I don't think she got her start, but I think that she was really big then. The 90s version of Audrey Plaza. Trojan! I'm sure it's about a guy with a sword. Fester's. Is that like Uncle Fester? Uncle Fester's Quest. I just saw Fester on the thing. Oh, play choice volleyball. Oh, the sports games. Yuck. Sports games, there's too many variables in any sport except for soccer. Yeah, you could do soccer with a joystick and a red button and still have too many controls for it. Please leave your comments below. And then the verses. This is, I think, the third wheel that we've had verses, and I don't know if that was a thing from one thing to another, or if that was its own thing, but that's funny. I couldn't imagine popping a quarter in, but I guess like Karate Fighter kind of, and the Tetris, and Duck Hunt, yeah. I mean, I remember seeing the guns. I just never played it. And I don't think I ever saw it in the arcade that, like, sort of my home arcade was which was at the then Pyramid Mall in Ithaca. Versus, all these verses. So I don't know if this was a series. It looks like they're all the same year. No, 86, 85, 84, 85, 86. So unless maybe did you play against each other? Was a versus series? Maybe that was it. I don't know. Mock Rider. All I know is a lot of these games are either games I didn't play, or they all look like games I didn't play. And now we've got Mahjong. Mahjong. And then just pinball. Oh, versus pinball. Wow. And they still did the graphic, I mean, they still did the gravity pretty decently. You know, I don't think people give programmers from back in the day the credit. Like what some of the programmers did with the limitations that they had and with the gravity, and I'm sorry, some of the AI in some of these games, the progressive difficulty is not just random. It learns, or at least it was programmed what certain player tendencies would likely be. Cause it gets smarter as things go, and it's not just more bullets. And everything goes faster. Some of that AI gets smarter. I don't think it necessarily learns as it goes, but I think it was programmed like this is later on. This is how the good people are going to play, and now let's send them to the rail. Versus Super Mario Brothers. You know, and so Mario looks he looks different. He's got that green to him, or he's got that little extra polish to him so that looks coin-op to me. Versus tennis, more of this tennis. Virtua Tennis was actually pretty cool. Pretty cool. And there's still more. Now this is play choice or play 10. We're still going. Lot of games, a lot of Nintendo games. Yo annoyed? Yo annoyed. It looks like yo annoyed. Yo, I'm annoyed. You annoyed? Yo annoyed? And we're back to ActRaiser. And the GoPro's still going. Not a vanity check, a technology check. The Nintendo Classics wheel.